February 9th, 2026, 21:58. It started with a message. Nothing dramatic, nothing that immediately sounded like danger. Just a simple text sent to her friend. "I think someone is following me." Emma had left the gym later than usual. It was already dark. The parking lot was almost empty when she walked out, just a few scattered cars, distant streetlights, and that quiet, hollow feeling that comes with being the last person to leave. She didn't think much of it at first, until she noticed the car. A black sedan, parked 2 rows away. The engine was running. The lights were off. She told herself it was nothing. Someone waiting. Someone on their phone. Normal. She got into her car, locked the doors, and started the engine. As she pulled out of the parking lot, she checked her mirrors. The sedan pulled out too. Coincidence? She turned right. It turned right. Her grip tightened slightly on the steering wheel. She took another turn, this time left. The sedan followed. That's when she sent the message. "I think someone is following me." Her friend replied almost instantly. "Are you serious?" Emma didn't answer right away. She was watching the rearview mirror. The car stayed at the same distance, not too close, not too far, just enough to never lose her. "Yeah, I'm probably overthinking." That's what she wrote, even though she didn't believe it. The road ahead grew quieter, less traffic, fewer lights. Emma made another turn, not toward home, just to check. The sedan followed again. Her heartbeat picked up. "Okay, no, it's still behind me." 3 dots appeared, then disappeared, then appeared again. "Drive somewhere public." Emma nodded slightly, even though she was alone. There was a gas station about 5 minutes away. Bright lights, cameras, people. She pressed the gas slightly. The sedan did the same. Not aggressively, just matching her. Her phone buzzed again. "Call someone. Stay on the line." Emma tapped the call button and put it on speaker. "I'm probably being stupid," she said quietly. "You're not. Just keep driving." Emma glanced in the mirror. For a moment, she thought the car had turned off. Relief hit instantly. Too quickly. Then headlights appeared again. Closer this time. 22:14. Emma turned into the gas station. Bright lights flooded the windshield. The sudden visibility felt almost safe. Almost. She parked near the entrance, engines still running, doors locked. The sedan slowed behind her, then kept going. It didn't turn in. Emma exhaled. "I think it's gone." "Stay there for a minute," her friend said. Emma nodded, but something felt wrong. She checked the mirrors again. Nothing. Then her friend spoke. "Emma?" "What?" "Who's that behind your car?" Emma froze. Her eyes moved slowly to the rearview mirror. Nothing. Just the empty space behind her. "What do you mean?" Silence. "I can see him." Emma's stomach dropped. "How?" "Your camera, it turned on." Emma's grip tightened around the phone. "I didn't turn it on." Her friend's voice dropped. "He's standing right behind your car." Emma's breathing became uneven. "I don't see anyone. He's just standing there." A pause. "He's looking at your car." Emma didn't move, didn't turn. Then her phone buzzed. A new notification appeared. Unknown device connected. Emma whispered, "No." Her friend spoke again. "He's moving." The sound of footsteps, not through the phone, outside, right behind her. Emma turned. Nothing. The space was empty, but the sound was real. Then the rear door handle moved. Once. Twice. Locked. Emma screamed and pressed the horn. Lights flashed. People inside the station looked up. The sound stopped. The handle went still. Silence. Emma didn't move for several seconds. Then slowly she looked in the mirror again. Nothing. The space behind her was empty. Completely. Police arrived shortly after. They checked the area, reviewed the cameras, searched the surroundings. No one. No black sedan. No person behind the car. No evidence. But one thing remained. Emma's phone. The camera log showed it had activated at 22:13 and recorded for 42 seconds. The footage was never released, but according to the report, there was someone there, standing behind the car the entire time. And just before the video ended, he leaned forward, close enough to the camera to be clearly seen. Emma never drove alone at night again. March 3, 2026, 1926. Lena never liked walking alone at night, but she had done it enough times to convince herself it was manageable. Her shift at the small clothing store had ended later than expected, and by the time she stepped outside, the street had already emptied. The city didn't sleep, but this part of it did. The lights were still on, of course. Street lamps spaced evenly along the sidewalk, casting long shadows across the pavement. A few parked cars lined the road, their windows reflecting dull orange light. But there were no people. That was the part she didn't like. She adjusted the strap of her bag and started walking, her pace slightly faster than usual. Not rushed, just enough to feel like she was moving with purpose. Her keys were already in her hand. It wasn't something she consciously decided anymore. It had become automatic. Slide them between her fingers, just in case. She told herself it was unnecessary. Still, she kept them there. About halfway down the first block, she noticed him. He was standing near the corner, partially under a streetlight, not fully illuminated but visible enough. He wasn't doing anything. Not checking his phone, not smoking, not moving. Just standing there. Lena slowed for a fraction of a second, then kept going. There was nothing inherently threatening about a man standing on a sidewalk. People waited, people paused, people existed in places without explanation. But something about him felt fixed, like he had been placed there. As she approached, she shifted slightly toward the opposite side of the pavement, not enough to make it obvious, just enough to create distance. She didn't look at him directly, but she felt it. That quiet, unmistakable awareness. He was looking at her. Not casually, not in passing. Watching. Lena kept walking, past him. No sound, no movement. She didn't turn around. She didn't need to. She knew. The moment stretched longer than it should have, as if the air itself had thickened around her. Then she reached the corner and turned. Only then did she allow herself to breathe normally again. The bus stop was still a few minutes away. She checked her phone briefly, more out of habit than necessity. No new messages, no missed calls. Normal. Everything was normal. She kept walking. The second street was even quieter. No parked cars this time. Just a long stretch of empty road and dim lighting that seemed weaker than the previous block. Her footsteps sounded louder here. Sharper. More defined.
This is the last bus.
She didn't like that. She adjusted her pace again. Faster now. Not enough to call it running, but enough to feel like she was leaving something behind. The bus stop came into view. A simple structure. Bench, glass panel, faded route map. Empty. Lena stepped under the light and sat down, placing her bag beside her. She glanced at the schedule. 5 minutes. She could wait 5 minutes. She exhaled slowly, forcing her shoulders to relax. Then she looked up and saw him. Across the street, standing under another light, facing her. Lena's body went still. For a moment, her brain tried to process it logically. He must have walked ahead, taken a shortcut, crossed somewhere she didn't notice. But none of those explanations worked. She had turned only once. There was no path that led ahead of her, no space where he could have passed without her seeing. And yet, there he was. Same clothes, same posture, same stillness, watching. Lena stood up slowly. Her pulse had shifted, no longer steady, now loud, irregular. Something wasn't right. 1934. Lena stepped away from the bus stop without thinking. She just moved. Her steps were steady at first, then faster. She didn't look at him again, but she could feel it. He was still there, matching her, not walking, not approaching, just staying in place. She crossed the street suddenly, a sharp movement. Testing. From the corner of her eye, she saw it. He turned, slowly, keeping her in view. But he hadn't taken a single step. Lena's chest tightened. That wasn't normal. She kept walking, faster now. She pulled out her phone and pressed call without checking who, held it to her ear. "I'm almost there," she said. Her voice sounded weak. The call hadn't even connected. Still, she kept talking. A car passed, its headlights briefly lighting the street. For a second, everything was clear. And in that second, she saw him again. Closer. Much closer. Standing behind where she had been just moments earlier. Lena turned immediately. Nothing. The street was empty. No one behind her. No sound. Her breath caught. That wasn't possible. Her phone vibrated. Unknown number. She stared at it, then answered. "Hello?" Silence. Then breathing. Slow. Close. Too close. Lena stopped walking. "Hello?" She repeated. No answer. Then a voice. Calm. Flat. Turn around. Her body locked. Every instinct told her not to, but she did. Slowly. She turned. He was there, right behind her. Close enough now that she could see his face clearly. No expression. Eyes fixed. Unmoving. Lena stepped back, her phone slipping slightly in her hand. The call ended instantly. The sound disappeared. Then, headlights. Bright. The bus. It pulled up beside her, doors opening, light flooding the street. Lena moved immediately, stepping inside. The driver looked at her. "You okay?" She nodded. Didn't speak. The doors closed. The bus pulled away. Lena turned toward the window, slowly. The street behind them was empty. No man. No movement. Nothing. Later, when she checked her phone, there was a call log. Duration? 2 minutes and 14 seconds. She didn't remember being on the call that long. There was also a voicemail. Same timestamp. She played it. At first, nothing. Then, footsteps. Slow. Even. Behind them, her own voice. Repeating, "I'm almost there." Over and over, as if she had never stopped walking. As if something had continued after she was already gone. January 27th, 2026. It was just after 11 p.m. when Maya got home. She followed the same routine she had repeated every night for years. She stepped inside, closed the door behind her, and locked it. Then she tested the handle once, paused, and tested it again. It wasn't fear, it was habit. Something small that made everything feel controlled. The apartment was compact, which was exactly why she liked it. A short hallway connected the front door to the living space and her bedroom. There were no blind spots, no corners where something could hide. Everything was visible from almost anywhere. That night felt completely ordinary. She dropped her bag near the entrance, changed into something comfortable, and turned off the main light. The building was quiet in the way most places are late at night. Subtle background sounds, distant movement from other apartments, but nothing that stood out. She went into her room and lay down, scrolling through her phone without really paying attention to anything. Time passed. She didn't notice exactly how much. Then she heard it. A soft click. So quiet it almost didn't register. Maya stopped scrolling and looked toward the doorway of her room, listening. Nothing followed. The silence returned quickly, as if the sound had never been there at all. She told herself it was the building. Old pipes, someone closing a door upstairs, something distant that had echoed slightly through the walls. That was enough to explain it. She relaxed again, letting her attention drift back to her phone. Then she heard it a second time. This time it was clearer. Metal. A faint shift. The front door handle. Maya sat up slowly, her eyes fixed toward the hallway. She didn't move right away. She listened. There were no footsteps, no voices, no additional sound. Just that same quiet, heavy silence. She stood up and walked toward the hallway, each step measured, careful. The door was exactly where it should be, closed, still. Maya approached it, her hand reaching out instinctively. She grabbed the handle and tested it. Locked. She pulled slightly. It didn't move. Secure. She let out a breath she hadn't realized she was holding. "See? Nothing," she murmured quietly. Her shoulders relaxed. She turned slightly, ready to go back to her room. Then her phone buzzed. The sound cut through the silence sharply. She looked down. A notification from her smart lock system. Door opened, 2312. Maya frowned immediately. That's not possible. Her eyes moved from the screen to the door. Still closed, still locked. She stepped closer again and checked the handle more firmly this time. Nothing changed. Her mind moved quickly through explanations. A delay, a system error, something wrong with the app. It had to be. But the feeling in her chest didn't match that logic. She stayed there longer than she should have, staring at the door as if waiting for it to prove her wrong. Nothing happened. And yet, something felt different. It was 2313 when things shifted from strange to impossible. Maya was still standing in the hallway, her phone in her hand, the notification still glowing on the screen. The words hadn't disappeared. They didn't update or correct themselves. Door opened. But the door in front of her hadn't moved. She was certain of that. Before she could step away, the handle shifted. At first, it was so slight she almost doubted it. Then it moved again. This time, clearly. The metal turned just enough to remove any doubt. Maya froze. Her entire body went rigid as she watched it happen. The lock didn't click. There was no sound of it disengaging. And yet, the handle continued to turn. Slowly. Deliberately. As if someone on the other side was trying it. Her breathing became shallow, uneven. She took a step back, her shoulder brushing against the wall without her noticing. The handle stopped. For a moment, everything went still again. Then, the door opened. Just a few centimeters. Enough to break the seal. Enough to reveal darkness behind it. Maya stared at the gap. She couldn't see anything inside. No movement, no figure, just blackness. Her phone buzzed again. She looked down instinctively. Door closed, 2313. Maya's eyes snapped back to the door. It was still open, exactly as before. The system said it was closed. Reality said otherwise. Her throat tightened. No. The word barely escaped. Something shifted behind the door. Subtle. Almost nothing. But enough to be real. Maya stepped back again, her heart pounding hard enough that she could feel it in her throat. Then she heard it. A voice. Soft. Close. Right behind the door. Why did you lock it? Maya didn't think. She turned and ran. Her movements were sharp, uncoordinated, driven entirely by instinct. She reached her bedroom, slammed the door behind her, and locked it immediately. Then she checked it again, pressing against it as if that alone could keep it closed. Her hands were shaking. She grabbed her phone and called the police. Her voice broke as she tried to explain what had happened: the door, the handle, the movement, the voice. They told her to stay where she was. She didn't move. Minutes passed. Then sirens. Faint at first, then louder, then directly outside. Voices followed. Footsteps. A knock. Police! Maya opened the door slowly. They checked the apartment, every room, every corner. There was nothing. No one inside. No signs of forced entry. No open windows. Nothing disturbed. The front door was closed, locked, exactly as it should have been. One of the officers tested it. Solid. No issue. Maya stood there, silent, her phone still in her hand. They asked if she was sure. She nodded. She didn't know how to explain it in a way that made sense. After they left, she checked the system logs again. 3 entries. Door opened, 2312. Door closed, 2313. Door opened, 2313. All within the same minute. Maya stared at the screen, then at the door. She didn't sleep that night. The next morning, she packed what she could and left. She never went back, because one detail refused to make sense. The lock had never opened, and the door had still moved.